A woman was having an affair while her husband was at work. One day, she was in bed with her boyfriend when, to her horror, she heard her husband's car pull into the driveway. "Oh my God! Hurry! Grab your clothes!" she yelled to her lover, "and jump out the window. My husband's home early." "I can't jump out the window. It's raining out there. If my husband catches us in here, he'll kill us both," she replied. So the boyfriend scoots out of bed, grabs his clothes, and jumps out the window. As he began running down the street in the pouring rain, he quickly discovered he had run right into the middle of the town's annual marathon. Being naked, with his clothes tucked under his arm, he tried to blend in as best he could. After a little while, a small group of runners, who had been studying him with some curiosity, jogged closer. "Do you always run in the nude?" one asked. "Oh yes," he replied, gasping in air. Another runner moved alongside. "Do you always run carrying your clothes under your arm?" "Oh yes," he answered breathlessly. "That way I can get dressed right at the end of the run and get in my car to go home." Then a third runner cast his eyes a little lower and queried, "Do you always wear a condom when you run?" "Only if it's raining." So a doctor starts up a practice and decides to challenge himself, so he puts out a sign. "I'll cure any sickness for only $100. If I can't, I'll pay you $500. A lawyer sees the sign out front and decides this would be some easy, fast cash, so he goes in to see the doctor. "Doctor, I can't taste anything." Doctor says, "Nurse, go grab vial 43. She brings it and he puts 2 drops on the lawyer's tongue. The lawyer quickly spits it out and says, "Ugh, that's gasoline." Doc gets his $100. Lawyer comes back the next day to try again and claims he has lost his memory. Doc says, "No problem, nurse, bring me vial 43. Lawyer says, "But that's the gasoline." Doc happily takes his $100, and lawyer walks out quite frustrated. Finally, on the 3rd day, the lawyer thinks he has the solution, goes in and tells the doc he has lost his sight. Doc ponders a second and finally lets out a sigh. He begrudgingly walks the lawyer out to the cash register and hands him 5 $1 bills. Lawyer says, "Hey, wait, that's only $5. Doc smiles and says, "Blindness cured. That'll be $100. 6 lessons of life. A man is getting into the shower just as his wife is finishing up her shower when the doorbell rings. The wife quickly wraps herself in a towel and runs downstairs. When she opens the door, there stands Bob, the next-door neighbor. Before she says a word, Bob says, "I'll give you $800 to drop that towel." After thinking for a moment, the woman drops her towel and stands naked in front of Bob. After a few seconds, Bob hands her $800 and leaves. The woman wraps back up in the towel and goes back upstairs. When she gets to the bathroom, her husband asks, "Who was that?" "It was Bob, the next-door neighbor," she replies. "Great," the husband says. "Did he say anything about the $800 he owes me?" Moral of the story: if you share critical information pertaining to credit and risk with your shareholders in time, you may be in a position to prevent avoidable exposure. A sales rep, an administration clerk, and the manager are walking to lunch when they find an antique oil lamp. They rub it and a genie comes out. The genie says, "I'll give each of you just one wish." "Me first," says the administration clerk. "I want to be in the Bahamas driving a speedboat without a care in the world." "Poof, she's gone." "Me next," says the sales rep. "I want to be in Hawaii, relaxing on the beach with my personal masseuse, an endless supply of pina coladas, and the love of my life." "Poof, he's gone." "Okay, you're up," the genie says to the manager. The manager says, "I want those 2 back in the office after lunch." Moral of the story: always let your boss have the first say. A priest offered a lift to a nun. She got in and crossed her legs, forcing her gown to reveal a leg. The priest nearly had an accident. After controlling the car, he stealthily slid his hand up her leg. The nun said, "Father, remember Psalm 129? The priest removed his hand, but changing gears, he let his hand slide up her leg again. The nun once again said, "Father, remember Psalm 129? The priest apologized. "Sorry, sister, but the flesh is weak." Arriving at the convent, the nun went on her way. On his arrival at the church, the priest rushed to look up Psalm 129. It said, "Go forth and seek. Further up, you will find glory." Moral of the story: if you are not well informed in your job, you might miss a great opportunity. A crow was sitting on a tree doing nothing all day. A rabbit asked him, "Can I also sit like you and do nothing all day long?" The crow answered, "Sure, why not?" So the rabbit sat on the ground below the crow and rested. A fox jumped on the rabbit and ate it. Moral of the story: to be sitting and doing nothing, you must be sitting very high up. A turkey was chatting with a bull. "I would love to be able to get to the top of that tree," sighed the turkey, "but I haven't got the energy." "Well, why don't you nibble on my droppings?" replied the bull. "They're packed with nutrients." The turkey pecked at a lump of dung and found that it gave him enough strength to reach the lowest branch of the tree. The next day, after eating some more dung, he reached the second branch. Finally, after a fourth night, there he was proudly perched at the top of the tree. Soon he was spotted by a farmer who shot the turkey out of the tree. Moral of the story: bullshit might get you to the top, but it won't keep you there. A little bird was flying south for the winter. It was so cold, the bird froze and fell to the ground into a large field. While he was lying there, a cow came by and dropped some dung on him. As the frozen bird lay there in the pile of cow dung, he began to realize how warm he was. The dung was actually thawing him out. He lay there all warm and happy and soon began to sing for joy. A passing cat heard the bird singing and came to investigate. Following the sound, the cat discovered the bird under the pile of cow dung and promptly dug him out and ate him. Moral of the story: not everyone who shits on you is your enemy. Not everyone who gets you out of shit is your friend. And when you're in deep shit, it's best to keep your mouth shut. On their first night together, a newlywed couple go to change. The new bride comes out of the bathroom showered and wearing a beautiful robe. The proud husband says, "My dear, we are married now. You can open your robe." The beautiful young woman opens her robe and he is astonished. "Oh, he exclaims. "My God, you are so beautiful. Let me take your picture." Puzzled, she asks, "My picture?" He answers, "Yes, my dear, so I can carry your beauty next to my heart forever." She smiles and he takes her picture and then he heads into the bathroom to shower. He comes out wearing his robe and the new wife asks, "Why do you wear a robe? We are married now." At that, the man opens his robe and she exclaims, "Oh, let me get a picture." He beams and asks why, and she answers, "So I can get it enlarged." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.